Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum once again. I think I should begin with my presentation or the lecture today. Hope you guys are doing good. It has been an honor, especially to your sir Kesa, your brother Kesha, who has taken such initiative and making us teach you or to make the information and the education go globalized, right? And in any case, if you guys don't understand in between, you can always come up, pop up, okay, and then ask question. So thanks for this platform. Today, what we are going to do is, I think you guys are already aware, he has shared the structure of studying the research methodology, and I hope that you guys will participate. It will be an engaging session because I will not know whether you guys can hear my voice or whether you guys can understand. Firstly, I know I've seen your page, and somewhere I've seen that you guys have already know many informations about research methodology. Many other renowned professors and the teachers and the educators have taught you guys. And to introduce myself, I'm Asima Banu Sheikh, and right now an assistant professor at Manipur University. I'm teaching political science and international relations. And about the Rohingya, this is most a favorite, I would say, a focus point of my research because I have been dealing with my MPhil, which is called the Master in Philosophy of that, and PhD, both together in the topic of Rohingya refugees. I have seen a lot of people from Rohingya community, but it is I have never come across who is like very well aware and educated. I came to know all these things from the Kesa, like that so many of you are doing educated, and like you guys are educated and you guys are actually, you know, making these things happen, learning about the research methodology, and I hope you guys want to continue this for making your research work independent, right? In focus in future, you want to do your own research maybe, and that is why you want to learn. So I'm not new to like to Rohingyas, but like new to you all, and like must be like you are feeling very new to me, but I have met lot many Rohingyas. Yes, I went to Cox's Bazar. I went to Indian refugees camp, and in the what to say, Delhi, and also in Hyderabad. Thank you. Many of you have welcomed me. So I would like to begin. I would like to share my screen. Okay, so just check it out whether it is visible or not. Yeah. Wait, huh? Can I do the pop up? Yes. And this one. I hope it is visible. Yes.
Yes, possible.
And I would also like you guys to participate in it. Okay, I may ask you some simple questions. I started learning research methodology from my master days, and master days means from my MA. Master of Arts, like not in MPhil, like it is called as an advanced master, right? MPhil. But I started learning from my master days, and today when I'm going to teach you, considering in my mind that you guys are not only research scholars, right? You guys are in BA first year, second year, third year. I know that you guys are in the younger part of a graduation, so I'm tried my best to cut it down to make it easier, right? To make it understandable. So why? Because research is not just learning about methodology. Half of my research learnings begin when I started the actual doing the research. It doesn't start with the like it didn't start just with the what to say, reading the research book or research methodology. The actual research began from doing research. So I suggest Kesar also to anyone, every one of you, that to write some small research paper and to give him checking out the whether whatever I have learned I can really put an input on my research. Okay, just learning about methodology and not practicing the research methodology will become a problematic, right? It will not go as a actual learning. So I hope that you guys, after learning the methodologies, you guys actually write some papers, and they are globally, what to say, independent research, globally accepted for publishing your papers writing about Rohingyas. Okay, there's so many Rohingyas who has also written books for themselves. And coming to the point, today my topic was the research start from the data collection, right? So data collections begin from the data collection, but before beginning what is data collections, I would like to tell you what is data. Data in a simple layman languages, layman means anyone in the society would call this as information, something that you acquired as an information. And today we lived in the world of information. Anywhere we have been receiving so many information in this world, that today when you open a Facebook or any of the social media window, you find that thousands of informations we have been gathering. I think this is the world's most information generated population. Okay, but when I come talk about the research data, this is something very different, because we work with the techniques, right? We technically we have to be sound, because we are going to publish something, we are going to produce something. So in the technical terms, it is known as the qualitative or the quantitative information of a variable that is obtained from the subjects of the research. A variable, what do you mean by variables? In the research, variables means something that you take to measure, right? Something that you take to measure means anything like time, weight, height, whatever it is, the information that we gather with the context. For example, I have done my research in the Rohingya, but I have written the Rohingya research that beginning from 2010 to 2020. That means 10 years. I have collected the information of this 10 years. Okay, that can be changed. The variables can be changed. After this, my research, I may again start from 2020 to 2030. So these are the variables that keeps on changing. But the information that I'm going to get collected is between the 2010 to 2020. Okay, so the data starts from the anything in the technically from qualitative to quantitative, that is obtained from the subjects of the research. Data can be in the form of many things. Numbers, first of all, right? It can be formed in the pictures, and it also in the form of words, figures, any piece of ideas or the information. You know, one thing, when nowadays in the research we actually take someone to photograph, and in the when you write your thesis or any research, you learn that in the last part of your thesis there is an appendices, you know. In that with some people call it an appendices and all, in that particular section we put numbers, figures, and we put images, you know, especially the images that you have collected from the particular population. When I went to Rohingya camps, I actually put some of the pictures mean doesn't mean any randomly, the pictures which is actually related to your research, related to your focus point. Like you for example, if you're talking about a climate change research, you're going to, what you're going to do, you're going to click the pictures which is actually affected. Affected means flood, deforestation, and how the oceans are affected with the plastics, right? With the plastics and the rivers, water bodies. So all these pictures is going to interest you, and then you are going to make it as a data. Okay, and in the research you have particularly most important two tools of research, I would say two forms of research, the way of doing the research. That is, one is a tool and another one is methods. Okay, and in the tools and the methods, what you find is that uh, many people get confused between what is tool and what is method in the research. In the data, in the tool, what we see is an instrument. Okay, what, so we are reading it, while a device that a researcher used to collect the data is called a tool or an instrument. And one should not get confused with the methods or the tools. Tools are the examples like questionnaires, okay, and the checklist point that you make, and in the device, while the techniques and while the methods are the techniques or the strategy, which means experiment, interviews. Got it? You can't say the interviews and experiments are actually the tool. No. What you use in the collection of a data, that is actually a tool. The thing, the materials, right? The objects that you use is called as the tool. And the way of conducting the techniques is are called as the methods. I think so far you guys have the idea. See why as I'm doing this thing in the PPT, I might not get you what the questions coming up, but at the end of the session, I would like to
Hey,
get your
hello,
questions and
hello. Can
question
you?
answer
Yeah.
round. Okay.
Hello. Can
So
you
now the
hear
data
me?
collections. Okay. What do you mean by data collection? At first, I have tell you what is the data, right? Data is a piece of information that you collect, whether it is a qualitative or the quantitative, under the idea of your research, what interest you make out of your research. Okay. Now coming to the data collections. What do you mean by data collections? Compilation and interpretation of your primary, secondary, and tertiary sources of information. Got it? And the integration of different sources, which will consolidate the write up to a report. So with this, I would like to tell you that in the what will happen in the collections. Collection is in even in a simple English layman language. It means like collectible, like you're forming something together, right? You're bringing something together. Collection. I'm collecting these pictures, for example, right? So simply when it strike you, if somebody simply asks you what is data collection, that means you are actually collecting some information. But in research, data collection again works with systematic and with the techniques. So it is about compiling, okay, of your resources. That
Got
is
it.
primary. It can be primary, it can be secondary, or it can be tertiary. Okay, and it's very important component of research, because without this, you know what will happen without this, none of you can do the research, answer the research questions, or test the hypothesis. I think I'm pretty sure that you guys know what is hypothesis of your research, right? And the hypothesis is something that you first predict before you start your research in any of your research thesis in your future. When you do a PhD or MPhil or something, research hypothesis is something that you actually predicted that this might happen, and you would prove through your research whether this is right or wrong, or I have that is called a testing of hypothesis. And in order to test that hypothesis, we are actually doing data collection, analysis, and interpretation. Okay, so the hypothesis is that temporary answer to your research. So you are going to check that with the help of data collections. Okay, whether it is going to actual my answers was the correct, it is testifying or not, right? And then now coming to the next this thing, what are the types of data? I'm pretty sure many of you might be knowing and or have learned about the types of data, what is quantitative and qualitative. One of the most common aspects of research, and what is most important thing also to know. You know, in the types of data, you'll have this discrete, continuous, and categorical. Under the quantitative, you'll have a discrete and continuous. But under the qualitative, you'll have a categorical. Got it? What do you mean by discrete? If you come at that means something which is very specific and distinct values, and which is also countable, not with decimal. It's a non-decimal. Example 1, 2, 3, 4. Can your age can be your discrete, like it can be continuous. You can't say I am 12.5 years old. Can you? No. You can say I'm 12 years 7 months, but usually when you say on the research, you don't count your continuous value. You just say I'm 15-year old. Yeah, I'm like 15 years old, or I'm 20 years old, right? So this is a discrete value. But what is coming to the continuous, it's something which is weight high decimal. If I tell you what is my weight, for example, I'll tell you one of you that what is the weight of your body. Then what you will say? 50.6, right? And in the decimal means what? That is the point that comes with 0 point dot dot dot, right? Something like that. So it's something which is continuous in features, height, or maybe in the weight. So all these are the quantifiable. This is in the number structure. But remember that most quantitative is brought into the number, but one becomes a specific and one becomes a continuous. Okay. When it comes to qualitative, which is quite different, when the quantitative name itself suggests that there is somewhere there is a number, but when it comes to qualitative, it doesn't have a number. It is non-numerical. Got it? And I just, for example, they might ask you what's the gender in your questionnaire or in an interview. You can say I'm a girl or I'm boy, she, he, they, what, da, whatever day, whatever going on nowadays, right? So anything, it's just like gender specific. For example, you're married